So never before in my 26 years of life have I played Halo. Growing up I was a Call of Duty kid. Halo was just a name. I'd see clips and think, why is it so janky? Why does it look bad, boring? Then, not so long ago, my friends made me buy the Master Chief Collection on Steam. It was cheap and I thought to myself, 6 games for the price of one? Yeah, why not? 2 months later, I finished Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 3 and Halo Reach. ODST and 4 are coming soon, probably. I'm not promising a video about them, but I will definitely play them after I make this video. So I'm going to do this in parts, my experience plus a bit of analysis in the order I played them, and I played them in release order. Also part of this is because my friends hyped up Halo Reach so much that I didn't want to start with it. So then, here we go, I click Halo CE and whoops, it's not installed. Because MCC makes you download each game separately, I hated that at first, but then I actually realized, nice. It doesn't download 50 gigabytes at the same time on my PC, I can just choose which thing I want to play. So we wait patiently to download the game and, alright, Halo Combat Evolved. So Halo CE opens with the UNSC Pillar of Autumn cruising through space. Cruising? Get it? Because it's a cruiser? Too early for puns? Okay, sorry. Anyway, we roll up on this mysterious ring-shaped structure. Here we meet Captain Keyes and our AI buddy Cortana. And we quickly learn that the Covenant are already here. Then the ship prepares for battle, we get one of Sergeant Johnson's motivational speeches and the Master Chief wakes up. Yeah, this first cutscene gives me a lot of you should know a lot of things already vibe, because too much information drop, I guess. It's like dropping in the middle of something, which technically if I played Reach I wouldn't have this problem, but I haven't yet. The game basically wastes zero time. After a super quick movement tutorial, the Covenant start boarding and we're immediately sprinting through the chaos, watching Marines get deleted left and right in the corners. Finally reaching the bridge, we meet Cortana and Keyes and it becomes clear that the ship is not surviving this. And I have to say, this whole opening gives huge Star Wars vibes. Small ship pursued by a bigger ship, corridor firefights which the good guys lose, the whole evacuate with the AI/message. Yeah, very A New Hope. But we fight through the ship, meet the grunts and the elites. I learn how to stick people with grenades and we manage to get to the life pods. Then the life pods crash into this ring, so does the Pillar of Autumn, piloted by Captain Keyes himself. Stepping onto Halo for the first time is genuinely awesome, especially looking up and seeing the ring curve into the sky and come from the other side around. That moment is probably one of the best in the entire series. From there we start rescuing survivors, defending against the Covenant, learning the layout of this mysterious space station / ring / maybe planet or something. We are also introduced to the most iconic vehicle in Halo and one of the most iconic in gaming history, the Warthog. And driving it is fun for about 2 seconds until I realize that I have to turn with my mouse. Oh boy. Yeah, the controls for the vehicles in the earlier Halos might have been good for Xbox back in the day, but definitely not for keyboard and mouse. And I'm not playing a shooter without a keyboard and mouse. The first couple of missions are pretty straightforward. We rescue survivors, learn that Captain Keyes is captured in a Covenant ship, the Truth and Reconciliation, so we infiltrate it. We manage to rescue Keyes, who somehow knows how to pilot Covenant ships. We also learn that Halo is an important religious structure for the Covenant and they want control of it. And we are off to finding the Silent Cartographer, which is essentially a map towards the control room of the Halo. Oh yeah, and also Halo D-Day beach landing. But around Assault on the control room, the level design started dragging me. So many hallways, so much this room again moments. This hallway is literally copy pasted like 7 or 8 times. The tank section helped a lot, and I mean a lot, and it was also a very nice surprise, but I remember thinking that if this was going to be the game until the end, I'm probably not finishing this. And then the game hit me with 343 Guilty Spark, and suddenly Halo becomes a whole new beast. The mission starts with this creepy vibe, blood, wreckage, Covenant acting weird, a Marine losing his mind. Honestly, the original graphics make this entire scene creepier than the remastered ones, and I'll give it that because I think this was the first mission where I discovered that I was playing on remastered graphics and not the original ones, and I was always thinking to myself, hey, this looks pretty good for a 2001 game. And yeah, I discovered why, but I am glad I played with the remastered graphics because yeah, the old ones are not doing it for me. But I'll give them this, it's way creepier here than it's in the remastered version. For some reason I was expecting some giant monster boss fight or some big massive reveal, and instead the flood showed up. I'm sorry to everyone that praises this scene, but the first time I saw the little infection forms hopping around, my brain literally went, why are there little grey smurfs attacking me? I actually laughed so hard, I was like, what? This was supposed to be the scary thing, like what, the soldiers couldn't shoot little mushroom people that were walking around? And then the combat forms arrived and it stopped being funny. Well, at least for around 5-10 minutes until I met my best friend, the shotgun, Tonio. Me and Antonio became best friends. Bro is literally a sniper rifle for zombies, but it's a shotgun. But I have to say it one more time, the level is very repetitive. I got lost like 3 times because every single room is the same. Especially on this bridge over here. I thought I had to cross it, but no, you just have to walk left. And I lost like 10 minutes only here. But we managed to evacuate the underground, being ripped apart by the flood. 343 Guilty Spark shows up, this tiny annoying floating light bulb that explains nothing and sends me straight to the library, with zero context at all. Ah yes, the library. The level that apparently everyone hates. Well, so do I. But honestly, on normal, it wasn't so bad. Yeah, it was a lot of deja vu, 4 floors, but the sentinels helped, and the flood are very fun to fight, especially when I have Antonio with me. Except the rocket flood. Whoever invented those, I hope you're happy with the generational trauma. Side note, the first time I played through this level, I tried to run through it, like straight up sprint through it, because I thought that the flood was infinitely spawning and I was on some type of a timer. But no, apparently I can kill everything. Then we get to 2 betrayals, which is basically mission 5 but backwards. Oh boy, copy paste hallways again, but this time we had a bonus, the Banshee, which was a pretty cool twist. Speaking of twists, oh yeah, plot twist, Halo isn't a cool mystery tourist attraction, it's a galaxy scale reset button designed to starve the flood by killing everything they could eat, which is basically most living matter in the galaxy. And also, why is it called 2 betrayals? I only counted 1. This is future me, so while editing this video I decided to Google it, and apparently it's 2 betrayals because Guilty Spark betrays the Master Chief and Cortana, and Cortana also betray Guilty Spark, so it's a double betrayal, I guess, not 2 betrayals, or yeah, I don't know, whatever, same. One thing I loved is that the Covenant and Flood started tearing into each other, and I'm just watching in the background and preparing to fight the winner. Then Cortana suddenly learns teleportation and we go to rescue Captain Keyes. Again. 3rd time's a charm? Or is it 2nd? No, it's definitely 3rd, but I guess we failed to save him the 2nd time. But yeah, we find him not in the greatest shape, but at least we take his chip the old-fashioned way. We steal a Banshee and head back to the Pillar of Autumn. So the goal is blow up the Pillar of Autumn so the Halo ring blows up and everyone and everything in it dies. Sounds good. And this last mission is actually pretty chill until the invisible flood shows up and I died like 20 times in the engine room, but for some reason my grenades didn't go in those pods, ventilation shafts thingies, so every time I had to use a rocket launcher to shoot them, and these rams that are moving back and forth are not really the most stable. It was a bit janky and the sentinels were really annoying. But we managed to destabilize the engine. We rush to evacuate and we get the iconic Warthog run. This section is definitely not made for a Warthog because I crashed and flipped so many times, but the music was great and I did it the first try, so we make it out by boarding this last starfighter ship on board that is somehow perfectly intact even though the ship crashed. I guess Keyes really is a good pilot. We blow up the Autumn and we destroy the ring. We are basically the only survivors. Right, Johnson? I just want to ask, is Sergeant Johnson God? Like, this man just exists outside the laws of reality. Like, I watched him die 50 times. Sometimes he just decided to suicide himself and then he shows up like, I'm good chief, let's do this. Also, I'm pretty sure he was in the room where the Flood took out every soldier and kidnapped Keys. How did he survive that? But yeah, unfortunately, Sergeant Johnson also dies with the ring blowing up, so I guess he really didn't have infinite lives. Overall, solid story, fun gunplay, fantastic music, but the repetitive level design drags the experience down for me, and the weapon pool feels a bit limited. Like, I think the human weapons are like 5 and the Covenant weapons are 3 in number, and that's it. But my biggest personal meh is the scope of the game. So basically, I went into this game expecting a massive war story between humanity and aliens, and instead CE is mostly about what is this ring and what does it do, and then it turns into a save the galaxy from a space zombie infection. That's cool, just not what I expect. Halo CE gets a 7.5 out of 10. After CE, I went into Halo 2 hoping I would get my big war angle. And I did. Yeah, Halo 2 definitely delivered. From the first cutscene, I knew I was in for a ride. Like, look at this. Look at this. It's straight up movie material. And within minutes, we're already deep into Covenant stuff. We see their capital, their leaders, the space popes, new alien species, and also this ship commander elite who surely isn't that important. Then we cut back to Earth. We get pretty much the same tutorial we got in Halo 1. Look left, right, down, up, inverted controls, test the shields, and get light to that the shields are stronger this time. So now we have some type of ceremony to attend to. My guy Sergeant Johnson is here, I'll be right there, but wait. What? This mofo is alive? So apparently the remastered version fixes this a bit, but Sergeant Johnson's death is retconned in part 1, I mean in Halo 1, but then again he is just God, so we don't need to retcon it. I have to say, Sergeant Johnson is easily my favorite character, after Chief, and maybe Cortana, and maybe the Arbiter, but we'll get to that. So we have this medal ceremony for destroying a Covenant fleet. Cortana's there too. We meet Miranda Keyes, Keyes' daughter, because Keyes spread his getting captured genes into the next generation. And then a plot twist. The Covenant are here, the battle for Earth is starting. We are starting strong. But my question is, if humanity is constantly losing this war, then why is everyone so calm? Like, they just found Earth. Yeah, the fleet might be smaller than the one that destroys Reach, 50 times smaller, but still, everyone is either chill or pumped to slap some Conan's cheeks. The first levels of this game are actually insane. This is basically what I wanted from Halo. We get more weapons, dual wielding, better flow of missions, bigger scope, and the anniversary graphics look amazing. I remember there is this one moment where I'm fighting outside the space station in the first playable mission of the game, and the Covenant carrier just slices past the station, shredding off Mach rounds, and everything is shaking, the screen is shaking. Yeah, like, I remember that and saying to myself, cool. But apparently the Covenant is sneaking bombs into the Mach orbital platform gun station things and starts blowing them up. But thankfully Master Chief is on Cairo station, so we kill the elites guarding the bomb. Cortana barely disables the bomb right on time, and then Chief drops the and I have to say, in Halo 1, Master Chief was a very generic silent character, but now in Halo 2 and onwards, he is a generic silent aura farming character, and I like it. So he eats himself in space, manages to sneak the bomb near a Covenant carrier, slides into what I guess is a reactor core, sends the bomb in, activates it, and he eats himself out. Magnificent. This is what I wanted. Here we also get one of Johnson's hilarious speeches, and finally a Covenant super weapon on the ground, the Scarab. Having the big bad alien empire rely on mortar tanks in CE felt a little anticlimactic, but the Scarab fixes that. I also experienced the famous sniper rally that everyone keeps talking about, and even though I didn't play it in Legendary, on Heroic it still hurts, man. Especially when you don't know what's coming for you. Those mofos drop the shields with one shot. Metropolis is a big highlight. We get the tanks, urban warfare, the Scarab assault, just chaos in the best way possible. And right as I'm having the time of my life, but a bump, I'm an elite now. And not only that, I'm the not that important shipmaster guy from the beginning. Jokes aside, I really like the Arbiter. It's a shock at first, But then you realize he's built to auto-farm just like Master Chief. Plus, his missions bring in more lore. We also get access to the Covenant Cloak technology, new Covenant weapons, and then somehow the Flood returned. This was actually a bigger surprise to me than playing as the Arbiter. I genuinely thought we handled them in CE. Turns out that you can't wipe out every last grey smurf alive. There is always one that survives. Halo 2 also introduces boss fights, and I didn't really like the boss fights in this game. Halo combat shines in open chaos and movement, the boss fights feel really awkward. But enough about that, we are back to Master Chief. The ship on which we were and followed the Prophet of Regret through that portal spawned us next to a new Halo. So of course the most logical thing is we drop with the ODST bros as loudly as possible. Yes Cortana, as loudly as possible. The mid-levels where we switch between the Chief and the Arbiter are solid, but it's more like a calm before the storm. This is obviously the lowest part of the game, but still pretty enjoyable, and it feels like it's leading up to something. I have to say one of my favorite shots is the Covenant fleet popping out together with High Charity above the ring. And then we get another plot twist. The brutes turn onto the elites. Tartaros sends the Arbiter down, and then the Gravemind. What the fuck? A big super intelligent space worm that controls the space zombies? Yes please. Or maybe no please? But it's really cool that the Flood are basically a hive mind, and this is the thing that's controlling them, and it's basically smarter than anything we've seen, except maybe Cortana, maybe? But also more importantly, the two bros finally meet. The mission Gravemind is probably my favorite mission in Halo 2. It kicks off the Covenant Civil War arc, throws us into the capital, introduces the Space Monkeys, Brutes properly as an enemy. I think the Brutes are an interesting enemy, like Elites still win my heart, but the Brutes have that angry gorilla energy, and when they hit their berserk mode, when they are the last one standing in their team, man, that gets real, especially when they are like the biggest bullet sponges ever. The prison break part kinda drags a bit, and especially like it's a bit pointless because when all the marines I rescued literally die in 10 seconds after I saved them because of a random thrown grenade, like yeah, a bit pointless. They would be better off just staying in the cells, probably would survive longer. Then probably the highlight of the mission is the spires that we are traveling across and seeing the brutes and elites fight each other, supported by hunters, jackals and grunts. And also badaboom, the ironclad somehow spawns inside High Charity. How did it get past the entire Covenant fleet that's protecting this place? Another research note, so apparently when Master Chief was inside High Charity and the Civil War had started, everything outside the city was tearing each other apart. There was a big space battle between the elites and the brutes in their capital ships, and somehow the Flood had insane pilots to dodge all the plasma and enter High Charity. But also that room, when you walk in and the rock track kicks in, Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, that was probably the thing that I least expected, and was probably the thing that I loved the most. The mission High Charity also keeps the same energy, but it's darker because the Flood is already here, so we need a bit of power elements. We have the three factions at once fighting, and I died a ton here actually, like a lot. In the end we have to leave Cortana, we promise her to come back, get ourselves into the evacuating ship. Then we cut back to the Arbiter, as he becomes the rallying point for the elites that are still on the Halo. The final mission especially is actually pretty darn cool. We have the Scarab, we have the Banshee, Sergeant Johnson knows how to pilot a Scarab, I mean he's God, so... We also have probably the best boss fight in the game, but that's like not a compliment or anything, but I mean it works. Although it took me a while to realize that I have to wait for Johnson to drop the shields. At the beginning I was just blasting that big white Mohawk space gorilla with my dual plasma rifles and thinking that I was doing anything to him, but yeah, apparently not. Also, did I mention that Keys got captured earlier, so they used her to activate Halo, but yeah, we managed to disable it. We get to see the Covenant ships enter the orbit in Earth. Master Chief is back, the battle is still going on, and he drops this banger, which is I think my single favorite quote from the entire Halo series.
Sir, finishing this fight
And also we see a scene of the Gravemind and Cortana interacting, and I have to admit something here. I did not like Cortana in Halo C at all. Like, in fact, I really hated her. She's very annoying. She doesn't tell Master Chief about the flood, she just sends him there like 5-second, hey, by the way, there are space zombies in the ring, watch out for that, would have been appreciated. Then after we are thinking we are saving the world by activating the ring, she appears and basically tells us, you're an idiot because you don't know what the ring really does. Well, no shit, Sherlock, I don't. I'm a dude with a gun. But in Halo 2 she feels way superior writing wise. The relationship between Master Chief and Cortana is also way better. I don't know, I just like Cortana here. This game basically made me like Cortana when I hated her at the end of Halo 1. Or maybe not hated, but I disliked her at the end of Halo 1. But yeah, overall, this game has better graphics, at least the new ones. The scope is exactly what I wanted, more guns, dual wielding, the dual SMG is my favorite, dual faction, we play as an elite, more vehicles, better Banshee controls, and basically more everything. Halo 2 is a solid 9 out of 10. So how to finish a trilogy? Well, let's see. Halo 3 starts off really slow. The first couple of missions are basically what happened on Earth while you were gone. Also, the Master Chief and the Arbiter meet once again, and this time they are on the same team at the same time. How did Arbiter and Johnson get back before Chief, even though Master Chief is already in orbit at the end of Halo 2 and the Arbiter is on Delta Halo? Actually, I know. Johnson is good. Problem solved. The game has new additions like equipment items, but honestly, it took me a while to get used to them, and I still don't know what half the icons mean. But the bubble shield is my favorite, and also I think I discovered that these can be used at the middle of Tsarovo Highway, so yeah, took me a while. Another change is that we basically don't fight elites in this game. It's more of an enemy of my enemy type of situation. Now that they are following the Arbiter, the game starts picking up around after Tsarovo Highway, but it still felt like something was missing, like the finale energy wasn't there yet. But then the storm comes into the picture, and from there on, Halo 3 is straight up fire. The Scarab fight. This is how you do a Halo boss fight. I love the new Scarab design. The thread on the top making it look like a scorpion is really neat. I died a bunch of times until I figured out that I had to shoot the legs. I was basically driving a mongoose here and hoping that the rocket marine on my back would do the job. Also, the first time the Scarab fell, it fell at an angle that I couldn't get in, like it was too high for me to jump, and I didn't really know about the trains, so I thought that I was missing something and I didn't need to jump inside of it like that. And also after I died like 20 times and finally managed to enter it, and then died, and then entered it once again, and then died, and another 5 times like that, and then after I cleared the entire Scarab, it took me like 10 minutes to figure out what exactly I was supposed to destroy. But yeah, that's my bad. After that we managed to push towards this big AA cannon. We disable it, the UNSC ships pull up, they shoot, everything is epic, epic battle, epic victory, and oh oops, it's too late. The Covenant open a portal to the Ark, and then a random Covenant cruiser pops out of sleep space and crashes like a meteor, and whoa, it's the fucking Flood. Floodgate might actually be my favorite level in these 3 games. It has the zombie apocalypse vibes on Earth. I remember there's this surprise ceiling drop of the Flood forms on top of the Marines. Also we see the new Flood forms, the new combat forms, tank forms, or whatever they are called, those crawlers on the walls with the shooting spikes as well, and also the elites drop in to help us. So cool. The Chief manages to find a message from Cortana, and Guilty Spark also appears, and honestly if I was Chief I was going to shoot that thing on the spot, but he doesn't do that. Apparently he's on our side now. Maybe this is also the moment where I should mention the trippy Cortana and Gravemind interruptions. I'm not a big fan, like they are stopping the momentum. I'll take the Gravemind monologue, but the Cortana sequences, like they are kinda just ruining the mood. Then we have the portal scene, Marines and Elites swapping weapons, everyone is loaded up and ready to go. Now the finale starts, the Ark, and first I want to say the Ark is freaking huge. like it's basically a flower made of spreading arcs. The space battle begins and honestly it ends. Like I wish I saw more of the space battle, but no, we are basically descending on the ground. And the mission the arc has the wholesome Halo spectacle. First we have the frigate landing, which was unexpected to say the least. Then the tanks roll out, a tank platoon or whatever, I don't know what 3 tanks are called. Even Guilty Spark is actually funny this time. Like, can you imagine? We get the big tank battles against multiple raids and also a great Scarab battle in the end. Then we learn where the Prophet of Truth is, so we need to stop him before he activates the Arc and all of the Halos. And then Trident.
We hit these 3 generators and the barrier will fall? A small section, yes.
Probably the greatest mission. Cool name because it's basically the final stand of the Covenant in the original trilogy, which is also my favorite mission from the original trilogy, the Covenant. This level has everything. We have another D-Day beach landing like the Silent Cartographer. We also get introduced to the Spartan laser, which admittedly took me like a minute to figure out how it works. We have huge vehicle sections and my favorite gameplay in Halo 3, the Hornet. This is the first playable air vehicle in Halo and I freaking love it. Finally, I can shoot down those phantoms that were giving me trouble 2 games in a row. The goal of the mission is basically to disable 3 shield generators, so the big shield around the control room is disabled. Master Chief manages to do it, so does the Arbiter and the Elites, but Sergeant Johnson gets captured, so we need to get there with the Hornet and disable his shield generator as well. But after doing that, another plot twist, High Charity somehow pops in and crashes somewhere in the Ark, and apparently space debris can now pierce through Covenant ships. So after fighting a bit with the Flood, we evacuate and have to march straight towards the control room. And wait, we get a tank section, a Hornet section and a tank section, and the Halo main team OST in the background, yes! Then we get another Hornet section. Yes! And 2 Scarabs land from somewhere, I don't know, they spawn in the air and we get a dual Scarab fight with air support and I'm the air support and yes! Okay, got a bit too excited. We managed to reach Truth and Miranda storms in with a Pelican, but she gets shot in the process. Rest in peace. Honestly, she didn't really do much in Halo 2 or 3, but I really liked her. She was the woman in the comms, kinda like Cortana, but since Cortana wasn't there, it was her talking constantly on the radio. But then, we get the most unexpected team up ever. The Flood offers to help us. I mean, makes sense, if the Ark fires, the Gravemind is basically dead. We get the Master Chief, the Demon himself, the Arbiter, and the Flood assaulting the control room together. The cutscene that follows is one of the most satisfying things ever. The Arbiter gets revenge, we stop the Ark from shooting, and the Gravemind obviously betrays us. The Arbiter sums it up perfectly. Oh yes.
Trade one villain for another.
But then we also get this wallpaper shot. The Chief and Arbiter back to back. Sword and rifle. Cinema. Now, Cortana. This level is probably the most hated level in Halo history. And I have to say, first, some positives. The opening visual is gorgeous. It's basically like some sort of a painting. And that's about it. I don't love GUI levels and this was one of them, but technically it wasn't horrible. Especially on Heroic, it was pretty manageable and it was not that long. Except that one room with the wall crawling, spike shooting Flood. Yeah, that was not cool. We managed to find Cortana, set up the detonation of High Charity, the Arbiter comes to save us, we are officially bros, and after evacuating we have one last thing to do. Fire the new Halo ring that was being created during all this. I think it's a replacement for Guilty Spark's Halo. Just as we reach the control room, the Flood starts raining from above, and I had no idea if I had to fight this or run. So I ran, and on Heroic when I run, I died like 50 times. But somehow I managed to reach the control room. But then Guilty Spark decides to betray us. And he also super casually drops that humans are foreigners. which is wild, but okay. He shoots Sergeant Johnson in the back with his laser, but 5 seconds after that, Sergeant Johnson uses a Spartan laser that he created from his back pocket and shoots him in the back as well. Satisfying. But yeah, we have a boss fight, which we get the Spartan laser, and we blast that tin can into smithereens. But unfortunately Johnson is gone. Rest in peace Johnson, this time for real, you were the best. Then we get the final Warthog run, and this one is the better one from the two. We have these big open fast alleyways, the team is blasting in the background, the ramps are exploding everywhere, skyline is insane by the way. These huge columns rumbling and destroying parts of the ramps, and it's not fast, it's long enough to feel epic and make my blood pump. We managed to reach the frigate, hit it and evacuate, enter the portal just as the halo activates and shoots its rays or whatever. After that we get the ending scene with the ceremony, the peace between the elites and the humans. But wait, Master Chief is not here. What the hell? Apparently the ship split in half inside the portal and Master Chief and Tana are stranded somewhere in space. I really like the ending, especially because the Master Chief was never a deep character, he was always the silent go kill them character, and his job is now done, the Covenant is defeated, the elites and humans are in peace, and will be rebuilding in the future as allies, I hope. He basically goes to his sleep pod and tells Cortana, wake me up when you need me. Halo 3 is a very good finale, 9 out of 10. So now I just have to play Halo 3 ODST, and yeah, screw it, I'm playing Reach. After Halo 3 I just didn't have the patience. This game was so hyped by my friends that I was already sold. It was supposed to be a gritty military story about one of the biggest battles in Halo history. And I'll say it right now, it did not disappoint. In fact, they were actually right. Halo Reach really is my favorite game, at least from the 4 that I've played. We start by seeing the future, aka what will happen. And I have to say I don't really like these types of openings, but oh well. Let's see what happens from here. Noble Actual introduces us to Noble Team and the new guy, aka us, entering Noble Team. We see Carter, the leader, Kat, June, Emil and George. The issue is that the relay station went dark not long ago and Colonel Holland thinks that rebels took it out, so he sent some marines to investigate but lost contact with them as well. So the reasonable escalation is to send 6 Spartans. Of course. On approach, comms are jammed and I already know what's going to happen, but I like the suspense, especially if this was my first time playing a Halo game, it would have been superior. The locals are frightened and don't want to talk, and even if they did, I really don't understand Hungarian. George apparently does. Fun fact, first time I played it, I wondered why don't these people speak English? And why are they speaking some alien gibberish language? Then I investigated and I realized they were actually speaking Hungarian. And after investigating a bit more, apparently the first settlers on Reach were of Hungarian origin and Reach was a big Hungarian colony. Pretty cool detail if you ask me. Anyway, back to the story. We keep the investigation until first contact. Boom, the Covenant are here. Big show. Well, not to me, but still awesome. I have to admit, it felt very cool fighting alongside other Spartans. We also see those new Jackal variants that are super athletic and uncanny and cool looking, but kinda weaker than the shield ones and the sniper ones. Also, I think this game didn't really have sniper jackals, which was a fun experience. And I can drive a civilian truck. And even more cool, I can drive a forklift. Oh yes. We pushed forward to the relay station, saved a couple of marines on the way, and when we get there, it's swarming with Covenant from all sides. We managed to fight our ways inside and seal the station, but the personnel is mostly executed. We have a few survivors. Actually, I think 1 or maybe 2 max, and we also learned that civilians in rural areas don't exactly love the UNSC. Then zealots jump us. One of them gets close enough to us so I can smell his breath. Also, the elites are apparently taking captives now. That's new tactics. Or old tactics. George and I are sent after them, and yeah, these elites are tanky as hell, bro. What the hell? They messed me up the first few times, but eventually I beat them. The station is back online, at least for a bit. Carter gets the info out, the Covenant are on Reach. Begin winter contingency. And just like that, we are fully at war. Noble Team is dispatched to Sword Base, a Covenant corvette appears out of nowhere, the base defenses are under heavy attack, we help clear the base, restore the AA cannons, and the mission ends with a Mac round from orbit deleting the corvette. We also meet Dr. Halsey for the first time. the mother of the Spartans, or at least the Spartan tools. She tells us that zealots are usually searching for forerunner artifacts, and Cat kinda sneaked out a latchkey without telling everyone. Also, the relationship between the Spartans and Halsey seems tense, but digging more into it, it's essentially everyone in Noble Team is a Spartan 3, and Halsey basically created only the Spartan tools, which explains why George calls her mother and he feels closer to her than the rest. Next mission is probably the most boring one for me, but this is where I actually learned that I can drive the forklift. Yeah, it's a standard sniper level, it's fun. Also, there's this big alien beast that are moving around, which was cool, seeing a bit of more fauna. It's revealed where the Covenant landing armada is. I still wonder how they keep sneaking around the human fleets in orbit, but at this point Reach looks cooked. Now comes the Counter-Strike. These next 4 missions are probably, or at least in my opinion, the greatest 4 mission streak in Halo. They are all 10 out of 10s for me. Tip of the spear is where the game gets really good. A strike force is sent towards the spires and landing zones where the Covenant are deploying their troops. The strike force is met by the enemy. Cat drives over a blown bridge like it's normal, and this is where the war really begins, and it feels massive. Even when it's just me and Cat, in moment-to-moment gameplay, the background combat sells scale. Tanks charging, the scarabs stomping left and right, and when we clear the AA guns, the frigates appear and start blasting the scarabs in the background. Is so cool. But eventually we manage to board a Falcon and reach one of the spires used to deploy troops. We disable its shields and evacuate as fast as possible because a frigate comes with a Mach round and blows that thing sky high. And for a moment it feels like a huge win, and then we get this. What the hell is that? Какво е това, бе, батко? Мале, то е гигантско. The Spires were a stealth system hiding a Covenant supercarrier, Long Night of Solace. I love Halo ship names, man, they are the best. The UNSC starts panicking and recalling all its backup fleets, but it will take like 48 hours until they arrive. So while hiding in caves, Cat hatches a plan, force a slipspace malfunction with a slipspace drive, and blow up the supercarrier. We move to a specialized base housing saber fighters. First part of the mission is okay, no surprises there, but then the big surprise. What? We are flying a space fighter? Yes, I know this mission gets mixed reactions in the community, but I genuinely love it. Controls feel solid for me, especially with mouse and keyboard. The first defense waves are great, then we get the assault on the Corvette and it's also great. We get a capital ship battle, which I always wanted to see. We managed to board the Corvette, fight Ultra Elites with jetpacks, plant the device, but during the fight, the UNSC Savannah is destroyed, unfortunately. But then comes the real bad news. Well, actually 2 bad news. Pelican can't fly, so we can't really fly away, and the only way to evacuate is to just jump from orbit. And also the timer is busted, so a manual detonation is required, and George has to stay behind. We don't agree, but he doesn't give us a choice because Go is like 2 meters tall and probably weighs around 200 kilos and just throws us out. We watch as we fall as the Long Night of Solace gets split in half. Rest in peace, George. You saved 3. Wait, what's that? A new Covenant fleet enters. Well shit, and this one is 50 times larger than the one that attacked her or will attack her in the future. There always has to be a yeah you won, but guess what? Now it gets worse. It never lets you breathe. I don't know how Noble 6 survives orbital freefall. I mean, I guess Chief does, or at least will in the future, so I guess I'll just accept Halo physics. This shot of the destroyed supercarrier hanging over Reach is one of my favorites. We rush to New Alexandria, but the whole city already feels lost. Exodus is incredible, probably my single most favorite mission from all Halo games. Except maybe the Covenant from Halo 3. It has the desperate civilian evacuation, the non-stop pressure, the radio chatter that implying everything is lost. There's this one moment with comms where one of the guys says to shoot at some Covenant ship and we hear the shots but they are ineffective. The brutes are back in action, but honestly I don't think they are particularly good here, at least gameplay wise. They don't have the rage mechanic from Halo 2 and 3 and they felt way easier to kill, like 2 shots to the head is basically dropping them. We also get this super cool jetpack scene with the ODST bros moving through the platforms to secure the higher ground and evacuate civilians. At the end of the level, we need to activate this anti-air defense system so we can shoot down a carrier and evacuate civilians, and somehow this manages to destroy a Covenant ship, which begs the question, why don't we have 1,000 of these? They don't seem that expensive to produce. The next mission, New Alexandria, makes it clear that the battle is basically over at this point. We fly a Falcon through the skyscrapers and the burning city, taking down jammers. Flying the Falcon is awesome. I think the controls are a bit better than the Hornet, but unfortunately we don't have rockets. Probably my favorite shot of the mission and one of the favorite moments from the game is how the Covenant cruisers are descending from orbit and then loading their main guns and start glassing the ground and everything shakes. Like, it's just that right there gives me the sense of dread that basically I can't do anything. The atmosphere is heavy. It's basically the planet is dying. We managed to regroup with Noble Team and a very close blast knocks us down and we start running, evacuating, but then
A demolition of priority 1.
the fuck? Cat dies mid-sentence. Didn't even get to finish her speech. No hero pose, just a needle that went through her helmet. I wondered why her shields didn't stop it, but yeah, it was evident that the big blast knocked out her shields. It's sad to see, man. I didn't even like her that much as a character, but that is probably one of the best deaths, especially in Reach, because it feels brutally real. It's war, everyone dies like that. These missions from Tip of the Spear through New Alexandria are peak Halo for me. In just a handful of operations, you go from "we're taking the offensive" to "everything is lost." The package sends us back to Sword Base for search and destroy. The mission is fine, I guess. We also have the classic Scorpion tank section and solid combat, but emotionally it's a calmer mission than previous ones. Then we have the reveal of the underground. We need to defend Dr. Halsey and her research from the Covenant until she is ready to pack it up. She hands us a priority AI package that must be delivered off-world. The piano hits and we see Cortana. Oh boy, I felt emotional here. I don't know why. I went from a Cortana hater in Halo CE to loving her at this point. June gets assigned to Dr. Halsey escort. The rest of Noble Team moves to deliver Cortana to a ship named the Pillar of Autumn. Oh yeah, full circle baby. Carter gets hit while piloting a Pelican, so me and Emil need to jump and push through the shipyard scrolling with the Covenant. Somewhere around halfway, our path gets blocked by a Scarab, but Carter sacrifices himself with the Pelican doing a kamikaze style charge. We manage to save a couple of Marines still fighting the Covenant. I have to say one thing. The elites in this game, man. The elites in this game are probably my favorite elites, especially the ultra elites. First, they look so cool. Second, they are really annoying, really dodging, have very powerful shields. Every elite has powerful shields. Every elite dodges like Neo from the Matrix. I think this is the most fun elites to fight and the most difficult ones. We managed to reach the Autumn with the Marines, but here we have to hold until evac arrives. Emil takes position on the Mac cannon above, and this section is hard, man. Enemy pressure is huge. We have brutes, elites, jackals, and there is not that much ammo for my favorite guns, so I always have to scavenge from the enemy, and they don't usually use the best guns. But after we manage to hold out, the Pelican arrives and Captain Keys is here. Hello boss. Just as we're about to board, Emil gets ambushed by zealots, but he at least goes down swinging, taking two with him. But a Covenant cruiser approaches and the Autumn can't lift off, so it's up to us. This is probably the hardest section in the game because there is like these 2-3 zealots that are blocking my path and I can't even one-shot them with the gravity hammer or the sword. I had to get really creative, but after getting on the gun, I really had one question. How do I kill that ship exactly? But apparently I don't kill that ship exactly, I just have to defend against the phantoms. And when the time comes and it reveals its main gun, then I shoot it. And after downing a Covenant cruiser, the Pillar of Autumn launches and manages to escape. We also get to see the first cutscene of Halo CE. Full circle completed. But now it's just us. Last stand. Make them pay. Lone Wolf. I will use the Lone Wolf gameplay to reflect on my journey, and yeah, I didn't survive long. I think I survived like 2 or 3 minutes. Halo Reach is basically my favorite game of the bunch, but beyond that, this whole 2-month marathon made me realize how much I missed all these years. I finally understand the old Halo vs COD debates, and honestly, story-wise, Halo stands above most COD campaigns for me, but this is not about that, it's not a comparison video. I don't really have some giant philosophical conclusion, and I haven't really finished the whole franchise yet, and this video is already way too long, but I'm genuinely happy to say that Bungie's Halo series is one of my favorite FPS games of all time. Halo Reach gets a 10 out of 10 for me. This was my first video, so if you somehow stuck around until the end and through my bad English, thank you. I know it might be rough around the edges and long, but I'll improve, I promise. If you want more documentary styles of my journeys in the games I play or movie/game recaps, please like and subscribe and comment what is your favorite Halo game and why. What is your favorite Halo level and why. This was the Lore Keeper, ciao.